If you're looking for some deep analytical speculation, some hard-hitting theories, you're not going to find it here. Because this is all about building the anticipation, indulging in the hype, letting it sink in that there's only 6 days until Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. I thought we would get this in like July, I'll be honest. But yeah, I was just streaming Smash, having a good time, and then bam, having a better time watching that Xenoblade trailer. And because of that shock, I wasn't able to really properly convey a lot of the things I wanted to talk about. So I'll be using, this is the official Xenoblade JP, but we're going to the Xenoblade EN. This one's an unofficial account that basically just translates the official account. So, but yeah, this is going to be a prequel. It was pretty obvious based on the base game. When you go to Chapter 5, the 7 founders, you get 7 party members in the game. Just kind of makes sense. Though we only saw 6 party members. I still think it's kind of funny his name's just Matthew. Like, definitely the most... Like, even Noah is a little more... Got a little bit more of furnishing on Noah. But then you just have Matthew. It's like the most generic main party name, if I can recall. Just Matthew. We're going to talk more about Matthew later. All I'll say now is that he does look like the main protagonist from Xenogears. This is where I first saw it, I believe, where the grandfather is named Ghondor. And this is where I kind of want to go back to the trailer real quick. This is not going to be that much of a shocker. I've seen many other people say this as well. This baby right here is Ghondor. When we all saw that child, that sad scene where the child has to say goodbye to Noah or N, we all thought, like, what happened to that child? And for me, I'll admit, right? For me, when I first saw that cutscene, I was kind of like, obviously it's sad, but I was like, okay, they're really on the nose. Like, they're really on the nose of, like, making you sad. That's what I thought, I'll be honest. But to see that it actually, no, like, that child will actually have a substantial role in the DLC. I think that's really cool. Like, I'm sorry for doubting you, Monolith. That was on me. That was on me. When I saw Nile in the trailer, I was like, yo, it's another Nia. You got Nia, you got Mio, now you got Nile. But it makes sense that, like, being a descendant from Ghondor would also mean you're a descendant of Mio. Those genetics are still in play. Also, if you played Xenoblade 3, you also know there's a character named Ghondor, which I think is really cool because you have Matthew who's fighting with the fists, then you have Ghondor in Xenoblade 3 fighting with the fists. Dilf Shulk, growing out that long, luscious locks. Seriously, Shulk, put him in a shampoo commercial. I love this. The right arm's messed up. When I saw the statue of this character, we all thought, that's the cool thing. Monolith Soft always likes to bait and switch. Make you think something, but like it's only like half the truth. Because you see the statue with the goggles. We all thought that was Shulk. We all thought it, right? But no. It's very reminiscent of Dunban, right? Shulk is also a tank. So I'm going to assume that it's going to be an evasion tank like Dunban. So shout out to thegamer.com. I just wanted to give a little picture of all the founder statues. Again, there's supposed to be 7 of them, but there was only 6 statues. Bringing it back to Xenoblade 1, where we all tried our hardest to hide the identity of the 7th party member, and then Sakurai was like, actually. No, but seriously, you see, we all thought that was Shulk, but this is Shulk. I would have never imagined that this was going to be Glimmer. Like, when I saw this character, I didn't know what to think. Even this article is like, they think they're Melio, which, you know, GG's. No, wasn't quite it. But, I mean, that's the intrigue of these statues. Like, they really keep you guessing. They give you enough information to kind of craft your own theory, but clearly not enough because, you know. But let's go back to the trailer real quick, because we really have to enjoy this moment for everything that it is.
I like your attitude, kiddo. I'll show him a thing goes free.
Dude, like, just introducing Rex with that classic pose with those quotes is just perfect. Just 10 out of 10. These swords are replica swords, just like Shulk has the replica Monado. They look like Pyra and Mithra's swords, but they're not exactly. Like, if you were to do a comparison, they're not exactly those swords. It does make me wonder where Pyra and Mithra are. That's one thing I want to say. I really hope we see, like, Pyra, Mithra, Fiora, Dunban, you know, like, Zeke. I really want to see Zeke. Also Morak. I just want to see all of them, basically. But I don't necessarily think we're going to get that. with the way the story and the setting, the time period, I just have this feeling it's not going to shape out to be that way. I would love to be wrong, especially for Pyra and Mithra, not just because I love them so much, but the ending of Xenoblade 2 was pretty ambiguous. I went into it in my 3-hour video essay. Check it out. You can interpret that scene in multiple ways, and I want them to just kind of land somewhere. It's great that you have that end ambiguously, but if you're going to show the future where Rex is literally grown up, and Pyra has a daughter, Nia has a daughter, like, at this point, I feel like you just have to stick the landing. Just tell us. I don't know. If you're going to portray the events this far away in time, you might as well tell us what exactly happens. So, at the very least, at minimum, that's what I want to see. So now we have Nile, and Nile is the character I am most curious about in their role of the story, because it's very confusing, because their powers, at least to me, looks like the Zanza aesthetic. And then you see her kind of like powered up or whatever, but she also has the Alvis core crystal. They just straight up show you, like, hey, yeah, like, there it is. In case it wasn't obvious, in case it wasn't clear, 100%, it's not just an Easter egg. No, like, this is the core crystal. I'm curious if this is a flashback. Usually flashbacks have like a different color tone. You got that little effect that makes it looks like a flashback, right? This one doesn't. If this is supposed to happen at the time of this story, you also have Malos's core crystal. There's just a lot of inconsistencies. If this shot is actually like part of the current story, that would be a little crazy. And again, I'm assuming they're the same character. At this point, we have like 7 Nias. So, jokes aside, I like how Nia, Mio, and Nile, they look all similar, obviously, but their designs are all very different. Like, even just their body types. I know the jacket, like, complements her eyes, but I don't know. I like that white, black, green. I'm a big fan of neutral colors, I'll be honest. So when you get, like, just a clear-cut white, black, green, that's why I like Mio's outfit as well. Very helmet hair, kind of. I don't know. It's a good cat-girl design. Speaking of Alvis, okay, hear me out. Hear me out. Because I see a lot of people making jokes. A mysterious figure who appeared before Shulk and Rex. See a lot of people. I mean, even if you look at this tweet, let's see. Is it the English one, actually? I might have lied. Okay, yeah, we see these jokes, right? We see these jokes. And they even say Alvis's name in the trailer. So everyone's making jokes about how this is Alvis. But hear me out. Is it Alvis? Are we sure? Because, first of all, looking like light-skinned Alvis. Looking like whitewashed Alvis. I mean, maybe that's because Alvis, you know, it's been a long time. He's been dormant. Didn't get that much sunlight. I get it. You know, I used to be darker skinned too. But then I just stayed inside for years. I get it. I totally understand. But, hear me out. I said this previously. Monolith Soft loves to bait and switch. Never forget that Xenoblade 3 reveal trailer where they showed Nia and Melia with the masks on. We all made jokes. Oh, if obviously it's Nia and Melia, who else could be behind those masks? Turn out to be the robots in the game. And of course we see Nia and Melia, their actual selves later on. But my point is that I am not doubting, I actually think it's likely, that there's some sort of other presence, some sort of power going on here, and that the Alvis we see here and in this trailer, this scene right here, you know, we all freaked out about Alvis showing up, but I'm just saying, if it ends up not being the Alvis we all know, don't be surprised, okay? I think we will see the Alvis we all know, but this particular one, the one who's causing all this, maybe like somebody got to his core crystal, you know, and resonated. You know, who knows? Who knows? Who's to say? This also looks like a prequel to the prequel because Shulk's hair isn't long, and then Rex, I don't know if they showed it in this trailer, but he doesn't have the scar on his eye. Nikol, probably the least interesting character to me out of everybody in the party, just because it's literally just Shulk. From what we know, just kind of just Shulk, yeah, just young Shulk. Especially anime, if you have a descendant, they just act exactly like you. Yeah, we see that with Nile and Hugo from Xenoblade 2. I'm sure he has more things standing out about him, but just from what I've seen, definitely the least interesting character to me. Speaking of interesting characters, we got Glimmer, 10 out of 10 design, showing that skin like Pyra and Mithra, but doing it in a way that's less offensive to some people, but also like really fitting the aesthetic of the Agnian clothes. Like, I just love that aesthetic. I don't know what you'd call that. I don't know if there's like a real life vocabulary for that. But you see that with the Agnian troops. You see that with, like, Laura and Hayes back in Xenoblade 2. I don't know. Just that kind of fashion is really appealing to me. I always appreciate the nice Mithra leg choker. I don't know what you'd call that properly. But you have Nia, and then you have Glimmer having that. Mithra, truly a fashion icon in this world. She's a healer, which is a bummer, because I don't like playing as healers. But I want to throw out something real quick. In Japanese, in this katakana, it's Kagiroi. Now, when I was streaming, I was trying to look up what Kagiroi meant. Because when you write a word in katakana, it's either for a foreign word, so something like chocolate, like chocoreto, that would be in katakana, right? Or it could be just like a stylized, because, you know, for example, like artists, singers, they'll have their names written out in hiragana or katakana instead of kanji. There's just a lot of scripts going on in Japan, but I looked up Kagiroi, but I couldn't find any answers. I couldn't find what it meant, so it just kind of confused me. Like, why would you not just call her Glimmer? But then I found out that Kagiroi is like kind of an antiquated or archaic version of a modern Japanese term, which is Kagero. Kagero, sorry if my pronunciation is terrible, by the way, means heat haze, shimmer of hot air, which is befitting of someone who looks to be Pyra's daughter. But also, I see that it also means the glow of dawn. And I don't know, something about that, something about that I thought was like so epic. Like, just so beautiful. I don't know. I just love names where you have these just profound meanings, right? Instead of just like Matthew, I'm just kidding. I'm sure Matthew means something, I don't know. But I just love these kind of names. Because, like, Glimmer, like, I'll admit, I'm not the biggest fan of that name. I don't think it's a bad name. Her weapon, I don't know what it is exactly, but she can play it as an instrument. Anytime an instrument is also a weapon, I mean, you can't go wrong. Also voiced by Shino Shimoji, which is the voice actor for Pyra and Mithra. She has a rather strong personality and often takes a harsh tone. Often she acts selfishly as she doesn't accept the truth of the world around her. I really like this, because that's more like Mithra, right? So I think it's just hilarious if Pyra's daughter acts more like Mithra, but Mithra's child ends up acting more like Pyra. I think that's what you want. You want to see those contrasts. You keep that going, you know? All right, next we have A. We're speculating at this point that they're Console A, because Console A is never mentioned. I wouldn't be surprised if A ends up standing for something. Like, maybe later on we find out their full name. But either way, they're just kind of like helping Matthew. We don't really know why yet. They definitely have connections to Alvis because of the earring. Just the general appearance, honestly. They're also a healer, which I also didn't expect, considering, I mean, they literally kill someone in the... I hope they're like a critical hit healer. I love that kind of class. The Monado looking weapon of 2, of course, makes sense. Okay, I'm glad this finally showed up, because I've been thinking about this for a long time. Nikol and Glimmer were part of Kevis and Agnes. I saw Glimmer's tattoo at one point. It's on her right arm or right shoulder. But considering that they're the children of Shulk and Rex, not them together, but separately, I would have thought that they were part of the Liberators alongside them. But no, like, this must mean that just like how Nia meets Mio, yes, they're mother and daughter, but that's like a different Mio. That's what I'm thinking this is, too. Because otherwise, I don't know how they end up being a part of that. Appreciate that they're going for different dynamics in this DLC. Because you have Matthew and Niall, who are brother and sister. But then you also have Rex and Glimmer, and then Shulk and Nikol. You don't get parent and child relationships explored that much in Xenoblade. And now they're really going into that with two sides of it, right? Two dynamics there. This might be unpopular. I don't care. This is my biggest fear with this DLC. I really hope they don't do a romantic relationship between them. it's just a little too far. Like, you have these two games, two different worlds, coming together. Their main characters happen to come together, be part of the same party. They happen to have children who happen to fall in love with each other in this specific... You know what I mean? It's just a little too much. That's just a little too anime. And anime and JRPGs do this a lot. It's like one of my least favorite, I guess, tropes or whatever you want to call it. Because it's like, oh, they just happen to be a boy and a girl. And, of course, because they're a boy and a girl, they have to fall in love. Like, I don't need that. I really don't. Noah and Mio, N and M, that's good enough. I just hope... Because to me, that's just very uncreative. It's just kind of like... I don't know. Maybe some of y'all would like it. I would not like it. I mean, I'm not surprised that one of the children ended up being a party member. I'm actually more surprised that we don't see Mithra's child at all. I just get worried that Mithra's child is not gonna have a good fate. And I think that's messed up. I know, again, it's part of the life cycle. It's not their actual. But it'd still be sad, because, like, Mithra has been through the most. Just leave her alone. Let her have a good time. Don't take the child away, too. Come on. There's also Riku here, by the way. I didn't even notice. I ghosted Riku when I first saw this trailer. I didn't even notice his ass. But I've seen people surprised he's there. And here as well. You see him. He's there. People were surprised that Riku was there. And I don't know why. Because in the game, in the base game, they made it very clear that Riku was sus. They made it clear that there was more to Riku. He had this whole exchange with Melia, too. So I think they're going to set up... I mean, he's with Shulk. In terms of, like, aging, yeah, it's a little weird, but... I mean, this is a fantasy world. They could, they could make up some some stuff. I mean, maybe he's not actually a Napon. I'll never forget. I'll never let this go. When y'all actually thought Riku was a Rex Napon. I'll never forget. I'll never forget how silly y'all looked. Never freaking forget when you thought Riku and Manana were Rex and Pyra. I'm just saying, man. So yeah, there is an official website for those who know. It's only in Japanese, as far as I'm aware. Just why I'm using machine translation. So yeah, this pretty much just tells us what we already know so far. You got the voice samples. Together with Shulk, he leads an organization called the Liberator. Dude, I want to see the moment where they meet. I don't know if they'll show that. I want to see it. It's going to be, whoever beat Yakuza 0, when you get to the very end, it's going to be like that. Yo. That's what I want. You can even compare it directly to right here. It's in the same shot. It says she goes missing for some reason we don't know. Maybe she, like... Hear me out, chat. Big read. Big read. Maybe somehow she resonates with Alvis. And Alvis goes evil because of her desires. Because she's so cynical. And because, like, that's how Amalthus and Malos happens. Bro, I'm on to some. I'm on to some. Tell me I'm not on to some. I'm locked in. I'm doubling down. I told you there'd be no hard-hitting theories. Nah. I'm locking it in. Double spinning edge? Yo! Double spinning edge. Double spinning edge. Oh my god. Anyway, this is where I wanted to actually... I came to this website for this reason. Instead of the Ouroboros, you have the unions. It seems like, based on the circles below the tactics, that you might have a limited number of these. Or maybe if you just charge several of them in a row, you get like a more powerful attack. But let's see this clip here. I'm kind of blocking it. Okay, so this is what I want to see, this menu right here. So this, it's not just like lands and Senna. You can actually combine. It's not the Ouroboros, but this gives more flexibility in terms of like what you want as your strategies, as you want as your combos. It's just nice. Because we're not going to have all the heroes, you know? So you got to have some sort of way to customize and all that good stuff. Okay, so this intrigued me. It's this Enemypedia. A lot of games have this where you have a catalog of all the enemies you've seen. Collectopedia, returning from Xenoblade 1. But here's the kicker, guys. This is the big one. This is the big one. Community is back! Alright, here's my second biggest fear. Torn of the Golden Country is a fantastic DLC, but the biggest problem with it was that community levels were mandatory. It was weird too, because you'd have to reach level 2, and then you do like probably like a 30-minute to an hour sequence, and then all of a sudden you have to get to level 4. 1 or 2 levels seems like not a big deal, but no, considering these require side quests to build up these community levels, no, 1 or 2 levels is going to be a lot of time. So I'm hoping they don't gatekeep the story by having these community levels. If you do it, just have it be a lower prerequisite. That's really all it was. Like, if it was level 3 instead of level 4, it would have been fine.
I've seen that look before.
Oh my god. Can't wait.
The stare of your fearful look.
Dude, this song. I wonder if there's going to be 2 songs. Because they played a step away in the trailers, the direct, rather, for Xenoblade 3. But then they hit you with, what was it, Where We Belong? Probably one of my favorite songs. If it's just this song, too, it's also fantastic. It really sets the tone. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this was able to satiate you, able to titillate you. I was streaming my playthrough, so I guess if you care about that, you can check it out. But I really do feel like this is gonna... The payoff for being a long-time Xenoblade fan is gonna be at its maximum. And just the thought of that alone is extremely exciting to me. So, till next time, just keep on being a Xeno Nutter. Is there a fan base name? I don't know.